Thank you, Jason. I just opened my microphone, and before I start to share my screen, I wanted to take up something Stuart said just before. Yeah, I'm working since many years with systems theory, and I always included it in my practical work. I do a lot of policy consulting. And in the first years, I was so proud that I'm able to talk about system theory. And I wanted my clients to be convinced that this is a very good theoretical background to understand complexity of world, or talking with Luhmann to reduce complexity, to come to actions. But I had to learn, and it was a hard learning, that they do not like when I talk about it. So, but when I grew a little bit older, more mature in terms of being a consultant, I realized that I do not like, that they do not want to be bothered with it, but they like to have a consultant, an advisor, who has a certain background knowledge. But this may be systems theory, and sometimes when I mentioned that I studied philosophy and sociology, they say, oh, how interesting. So they like that I studied philosophy, but they do not want to talk with me about it. They like that I'm a sociologist, but they do not like to talk social theories, but they like to have it as a background. And so I agree that it would be very good to have a very good label for what we are doing. And second order does not work so good. The same is with Sociocybernetics, a group which I'm very attached to. So maybe it's a little bit a question of marketing. But nevertheless, what the message is, maybe when we find the right label, we can better bring it over. But there is an interest. I would really not say that my experience is there is no interest. So this was just to share a little bit and reflect what Stuart had said, and what you, Jason, you both of you, is the reason I understood, is why we are meeting here and talking and all these things. So now I'm do next. I share my screen. Okay, which is this one, and then I can go into presentation mode. Yeah, great. So those who know me sometime know also that I'm, let me say, somewhat specialized on Niklas Luhmann's theory of social systems, which does not mean this is the only scientific source I use, but one I invested, I would say, in the meantime, a couple of thousand hours in my life, for sure, can be. I want something bring in which I think is of importance in this discussion, and this is in this social system theory labeled as self-reference. Looking at that in terms of second order, this means at first, if we have an observer and something observed in social sciences, of course, this is a social system what is observed, not a physical object or something like that, but actions, communications. So these are both of them are operationally closed systems, so complex systems. So you can also say black boxes. Of course, everybody will say, yes, of course, we know that it's nothing new, but I think it's important to remember from time to time that what we observe, and this, here I come to the next, are the relation of these self-referential, operationally closed social systems, the interaction with the environment. And then this brings in the point that this is called in social systems theory external reference or heteroreference or other reference. In the English translation, there are several terms used. In German, it's always Fremdreferenz, but Fremdreferenz is maybe something hard to translate into English. Yeah, what is the point here? The point here is that the observer observes in self-observation also his interaction with the environment, which is necessary to do an observation. But also the observed is a closed system. Self-reference cannot be observed, neither by the self-reference systems nor by an observer. But again, it is observed the so-called external reference of the observed. So, and what is important here is Luhmann did a lot of thinking and writing on this issue, but this was not new because already it was Popper giving a lot of attention to the point that every observation is guided by theory and that theories are tested and falsification and verification, and we'll know this a body of knowledge behind it. So as I said before, it's you can say by the one hand it's a simple thing, but on the other hand it's tricky if you like to work with this. This brings me to the next point, something I like very much. This metaphor or this saying, second order has to do, second order observation has to do with being inside the box. So it's coming from Bates and Mead. And from first I had this quotation, considers oneself to be a participant actor. This is pure sociology. This is really something which is so deep in sociology. And it was just mentioned before the term action research. This is just a modern expression of something which is a classic in sociology. So framing it in terms of social systems theory. So what does this mean? And I like to come back to this how, what, and why, but use it maybe in a slightly different way as it is used often. So for this presentation for today, I decided to choose to use the term awareness. So this means second order observation means awareness of how is observed. So how the observer use its external reference. So in terms of Popper, it's theories and structures. In terms of Luhmann. Next is awareness of what is observed. Of course, the first thing is what is observed, but also the awareness that only the external reference of the observed can be observed. I know it's a lot of observing here, but that's the point. If you use the terms, the body of knowledge in second order cybernetics is given if you use it. And then we have awareness of why. And the why I decided to use here in the way that why there may be a feedback, and feedback can mean many things. Above all, that an observer inside the box changes possibly the references used by observed. So of course, being a participant observer may change the behavior, the communication action of the observed. And of course, if you as observer, if you are participate in a situation, you become, it's otherwise round, you become the observed. So, and I think these are things we all know, and this is not new because there's literature about it. Nevertheless, I think it's worth to repeat it and to frame it again, because most people do not include this kind of second order thinking or second order reflection in their scientific work, and it makes a difference. A difference which makes a difference, if I may use these Bateson words. Yeah, reflective participating observation, this is a classic in sociology. And I give only here two very prominent works, the Street Corner Society from William Foot White and from Maria Hoder, Paul Lassersfeld and Hans Zeisel, the Marienthal study. And of course, I love the Marienthal study because it's an Austrian one. but both are really, they have their years on their back. They are from the 1930s. So I thought I have to, and this is my final slide, I have to bring in something which links to our present reality. I could have said quite a lot about fakes and facts or alternative facts, but I thought, what if I would have the research money today, and maybe I will have in next time research money to do empirical research on it, I would say there is a field now rising which is called digital anthropology, and I find it quite interesting. And I would say, in terms of second order observation, the investigation of bloggers and influencers would be really quite an interesting thing. So with this coming from the classics to the contemporary world, I would like to conclude, and thanks for your attention.